here.
Ah, what's been going on? How's my boy doing out there?
He's doing good. He's finding his footing. He's he's doing good.
That's
He
wonderful.
is doing good. Yep.
Oh, that's
Yep. I
wonderful.
got my first certification down for my job. I just got to do one more. Just finished it yesterday.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Okay.
One more to go. Probably several more to go, but this is just this stretch.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Exciting. Very exciting.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That is wonderful.
Mhm.
It changes, it changes your, they're kind of this, it changes your life and your experience when you have a vision,
Mhm. For sure.
right? So, and your vision is your end goal, whatever it is you want it to be, right? And however far you can see, so to speak, right? But
Mhm.
vision is not based on sight, it's based on your end goal. So, when you are, that's why it says, for a lack of vision, my people perish. It's not for a lack of sight, it's for a lack of vision. But why? Because vision is what creates sight,
Mm.
right? When the mob, when the mafia rolled out from the East Coast to what we now call Vegas, there was no Vegas. It was just dust and dirt. So
Mm.
they didn't recreate a hotel from something they saw. They created a hotel from a vision. And your vision is internal. That is an internal faculty. That is I am's awareness of something already being before humanity sees it. So
Mm.
humanity only sees what I am created, right? Your
Mhm.
vision is I am's internal sight. Humanity's sight always comes after what we see, always comes after a vision has been expressed.
Mm.
So, like I said, when the mob rode out from the East Coast to the West, when they first got to Vegas, it was nothing but dirt. So they didn't recreate a casino. They built a casino, but they built it from what? That it could not have been an external site, so they copied. It had to be an internal vision, which they used to create,
Mhm.
right? So when you have a vision, like I said, months and months, maybe 2 months ago now, right? I use that juice box story, right, where you have your kids in the back seat and they're saying, you're saying you're going to Disneyland, and so they're in the back, right, sitting there, and they're saying, "Hey, mom, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" Because they use sight to determine whether something is true or not, but that's because they're not in charge.
Mm.
So they only see things physically. To them, it's real if they see it. But you don't see it either, but it doesn't bother you when you're driving because you're not driving by sight, you're driving by vision.
Right.
You know the end. So the streets to you take on a different context and meaning. The streets to you don't tell you whether it's true or not. But to someone who doesn't have vision, the streets mean everything, right? To someone who has vision, the streets are only a means to an end. They don't mean yes, no, maybe so. They're just the means to the end. So when you have a vision about something, when you are thinking in the end about what you want to be for your business or what you want to be as a parent or what you want your business to be like or what you want, whatever it may be, that allows you to not be determined or be dictated to by the streets, because those are only by circumstances, because those are only a means to the end. Those are only the bridges which you cross to get to those are the incidents or the bridges that you cross to get from where you started to where you are in expression, right? The streets are only the things you take from your house to Disneyland, right? Or to the Lincoln Financial Stadium over there, right, where you are.
Right.
Yeah, see, I put it all together. Yeah, right. It's for you out there in Philly, right? So the point is that vision allows you to see streets, to see the in between, to see the circumstances much differently than the children in the back, than that part of your mind, your human mind, that looks at streets and tries to use it to judge whether something is true or not.
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why it says, for a lack of vision, my people perish. When you don't have an end, when you're not being driven by your end, everything means something now. And a lot of times it'll mix you up and mess you up. You'll see traffic and you'll be like, oh, I won't make it. Or, oh, I won't make it on time. Or it'll make you turn around. Circumstances will make you believe something that isn't necessarily true, or that doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means. It doesn't have to play that role, right? But if sight is all you have to go on, sight means everything,
Right.
right? But sight only matters to those that aren't in charge. Vision belongs to the one in charge. Vision is a God faculty. Sight is a human faculty, right? Sight always comes after vision. No one saw Vegas until Vegas was built. The people who saw it are not the investors. The people who've imagined, those are your investors. Those are the people making all the money, because those are the people who built it out of so-called nothing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So your end is your vision. And when you're being driven by your vision, it will allow you to not be caught up in circumstances, right? The streets, the traffic, the weather, people crying in the back, your kids getting impatient, like, are we there yet? Your human mind making you feel like, are we there yet? Well, how's that going to work? Well, what? What does that mean? Whatever else it may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is why. So when you're driven by that, it will allow you, you'll see all the same things. You'll see traffic, you'll see this, you'll see things, but what they mean to you won't be the same, right? What that means to the driver is much different than it means to the kids in the back. What it means to your higher mind using vision is some much different than your human mind sitting in the back, right? Saying, are we there yet? Well, I have to go to the bathroom. What time is it? I thought you said. Your human mind trying to figure it all out, right? So,
That just clicks so well because what you see on the way is not going to be what you see when you get there.
correct, correct.
So all the things you see on the way seem so far from where you're going that you're like, this ain't it. But if you're only focused on what you see, which is what I was doing for a very long time, focusing on what I see right now instead of where we're heading.
Mhm,
But yeah, if you're only focused on what you see outside the window on the way, which is the highway or the streets or the trees, you're
mhm.
not going to see the end goal. So that's so good. Look, I'm clocking it. That's
That's
what the
it.
kids doing.
That's it.
I'm clocking it.
That's it. 6'7" out here in the street. That's
I
it.
still don't know what that means,
That's
but
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotten it over here. I said, see, I got, man, you gotta let everybody know. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show them. You got to be playing with it out here, right? Happy Saturday, everyone. It's good to see you all. Good to see you all. You can see we're already off and firing, right? So it's wonderful. It's good to see you all. It's so important that we understand how to think, because it means everything. It literally means everything. It's how you see things, what you see, how you interpret things, what your perspective is about everything, what you believe about everything. All those things are coming from what you see, and what you see is coming from who you're being. Who you think you are is who you're being, right? So when you know who you are, you will be who you want to be, meaning you will express yourself as you so choose, right? You will have control over yourself, which is control. When you control yourself, that is control. Trying to control the external world before you control yourself is like it doesn't work. I'm not going to even use a metaphor or analogy. It just doesn't work. It is well intentioned, it's well intended, but humanity tries to control the physical world because humanity is physical, and that's all it has access to in that sense. So it believes everything is physical. So it tries to deal with everything physically, but that's not the way this works. Everything that we see physically, sight, is always the effect of the cause, which is vision. The external world is nothing but the physical outcome of vision, or of the internal mechanism I am, consciousness, what you're aware of being. Who are you? What are you? What do you think you are? That is what you're basically, that's what's being reflected back to you in your personal world, right? So your vision, for a lack of vision, my people perish. For your inability to remember or realize that you are the creator. Whatever you say goes. Whatever you tell yourself is true. As a mind thinketh in its heart, as a mind believes itself to be, so is it, right? Well, as a mind believes itself to be, as consciousness believes itself to be, it pushes that out, that belief into physical expression, right? Your world reflects that back to you, right? Your world is the physical expression of who you're being. You are actually consequence itself. You are actually circumstance itself. It's the physical, it's the word made flesh. It is your awareness being brought into physical form. You are the consequence. You are the circumstance. You are the condition. There are no, the what we call circumstances or conditions are not independent. They are interdependent, meaning they are reliant upon you. So just like a bill comes to your house, it's relying upon you to pay it. Just like a memory comes into your house, to your mind, it's relying on you to remember it, which means you have to put your consciousness back on that memory in order to make that memory alive or keep it alive. Whatever you will not whatever you will not read, you won't remember. So you will not remember, right? Whatever you don't make alive back in your mind, you will not either create or you will not keep alive or resuscitate or revive, right? You will not. It takes your consciousness to create or to maintain because there's only one creator and there's only one sustainer of life, which is that creator, which is I am, which is your consciousness, your present tense belief about something, anything, everything. There are no exemptions. There are no exceptions, right? Every Saturday I come on here. I can teach this class every day because every day I have something I wish I could tell you all, right? So when I get on here on Saturday, there's 1,000 things I want to tell you, 1,000 different directions I could go in, right? Because there's so many wonderful things um, that you can think about, that you can change, that you can choose, that you can be, do, or have. So whittling them all down to Saturdays, is a trip. But a lot of times I have a lot of things I could talk to you about, but I always like to hear where you guys are because then, we can get a little bit more down to brass tacks and make sure that we are applying this in day-to-day living, right? So hearing Sarita's thing, it was great to hear that. Just talking about the difference between vision and sight and who gets paid the most is the one with vision, right? If you come in after Google and stuff is already made, you're not going to make as much as somebody who makes it, who's the creator of it, right? You're not going to be the same level of investor. You're not going to be the same level of owner. So the earlier you can get in on your dream, right, or your desire, remembering who you are, that you create all things from your concept first of self, and then from your concept of self, when you say I am this, then you say, oh, I eat that, or I don't eat that. I am this, or I'm not that. But that's based on first how you see yourself, right? Everything is that. So what you allow, what you accept, what you believe, what you choose, what you don't allow, believe, accept, or choose. First, those are all, the foundation of that is all based on first, who am I? Who do you believe yourself to be? Right? And based on that, you start telling yourself, this is true or this is not true. I believe this or I don't believe that. All those things are secondary. All of them. I am is first. So when I say, Marlon, who are you? Right? And you'll say, I am Marlon. Well, I am is who you are. Marlon is what you are using yourself to express. But Marlon is nothing more than whatever the name of your car is. I am Chevy, let's say, meaning you are first Marlon and you're using this car or you're using your physical car body, Marlon, to express yourself. Those are just extensions of yourself that you're using to express yourself, right? The Marlon um, is the first virtual reality. It's the first place I am is looking through, believing it to be real. Marlon was the first goggles. Marlon was the first Ray-Bans, right, with that you can talk through. Marlon, what that body is the first artificial intelligence, right? Because it is made alive by intelligence itself, by life itself. The breath of life is what makes that body real. Otherwise, it's just a body. It was not a living being until the breath of life was blown into it. Your business is not a living thing until the breath of life is blown into it. So your business is the life of your breath, and your breath is you. So your business is a physical extension or expression of you. Your body is a physical extension, expression of you. It is literally breathing your life. So then the most important question always is, who am I? Who am I aware of being? I am, but am I aware of being that? Am I aware of being I am? The more aware I am, right, of being I am, the more of I am I will express. The perfection of it, the power of it, the omniscience of it, the omnipotence of it, the omnipresence of it, all of it. All of it. Do you know? I'm going to get into something today. I haven't really got into this class really. Has anybody ever said to themselves, um, like you're right now in the present moment, has anybody ever said to themselves that they're going to be something? Like, I'm going to be rich, or I'm going to be a business owner, or I'm going to be. Has anybody ever said that to themselves? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. You just dig in your grave.
Oh, it's
You
a setup.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna
But
say
hey,
I have in the past.
yeah. Okay. Right. You just dig in your grave, but I'm glad you have a good attitude about it. That's wonderful. Keep a good attitude. That's wonderful. Right. So I am going to be or do or have, right? We've all said that to ourselves, right? Okay. When are you saying that?
In the now.
Okay. So then if we were to say that in the now, how will we say that?
The way you
I
voted
am.
before.
I am.
Hmm.
Okay. What?
And take the going to be out.
And put what? And, okay.
Whatever it is.
So I am, be, do,
Um,
have, right?
mhm.
Okay. Now what? What's the other one?
What do you mean?
We're missing something. What's the last one?
I want.
Well, that would be going to be. Because that means you're saying you don't have.
I am have.
Well,
Or I have it now. Like I have it.
that's right here. I am
Yeah.
be. I am be. What are we missing?
The past
In the
tense.
chat we just
The
have
past-
I have.
The past tense.
I had.
I had. Or I
Indeed.
have always had. I am always. I already have. This is past. I had. Right? I am had. Right? Here's what I mean by that. I had. I've always been. I've always had. I've always done. I am. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
This one right here, I am, have. Do you know what that's called? Do you know that you can create from here just like you create from here?
Mm.
Do you know what
It's a
this last one is
declaration.
called? I've always had. I've always been. I've always done. I've always passed all my certifications. I've always got every job I ever wanted. I've always had. Do you know what that's called?
Creating.
Yes, it is. All of these are creating. Why?
Because we're speaking it. We're saying it. It's a command.
Yes, because why?
Because I am.
Because I am. And I am is the creator. So it doesn't matter what tense you're talking to, if you're talking in or you're speaking in, it only matters who's speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I am had, meaning I've always. That is what people will call revision. It means using the past to create now, because you're always in the present, you're I am. But I am is omnipresent. Is that correct?
Yes.
I am is everywhere. So I am is past, present, and future. Meaning it's an all time is all happening at once, right? But humanity breaks it down to make it reasonable and understandable. Like when you cook a cake, it's all one big thing, right?
Yep.
Now then, in order for you to eat it, what do? You slice it up. Time is all one thing. But in order for us to understand it, we slice it up to make it more digestible, make it more understandable for ourselves. But if you can say I'm going to be, why can't you say I've always been?
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I know. That's why you're here. Yeah, that's right. And that's why you're here, because I'm going to make sure you do. Because I want you to understand that your power is not in a tense. Your power is because of who you are. You are not in time, you're out of time. You use time like you use a car. You're above time. You are epi-time, like we talked about last week, epigenetic, right? Consciousness above the gene, and that consciousness makes the gene express itself according to what it's conscious of being. You use your genes to express your biology. You use time to express movement or action, but you use time. You're not time. You're not stuck in time. You use time. Just like you use your body, just like you use your money, just like you use your health. All these things are things you created to express yourself, but they are not necessary for you to be you. Are you guys understanding this so far? You're not stuck in time. When people say you can't change the past, that's not actually true. I just didn't want to break certain things to you. I have to give you a little small food first. It's not actually true. Why? Why is that not true? Well, I'll let you. Why is that not true? If that were not to be true, and I know it's probably some of the first time you guys have ever heard it this way. Oh, you can't change the past. That's not true.
Because
So
you can change your understanding of it or your perception of it.
Okay. Now, okay, if that's true, why would that be possible?
Well, I think of now how I'm learning how to think. I'm learning the power of words.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I described something in the past, the way I understood it, the way it affected me when I thought that way, that's how I think changing the past can happen.
Okay, that's actually pretty correct. Actually, I am, all of these things are present tense, right? All these things are happening at the same time. I am is omnipresent. Everything is happening at the same time. It's only one time. There's only one cake. You can slice it up any way you want to, but it's still only one cake. So time is all happening at once, right? We talk about this all the time. I give you examples. All right. So Sparkle Bailey, you're out there in Texas somewhere. What time is it?
It is 9:20
All
a.m.
right. Sarita, you're out there in Philly. What time is it?
It is 10:20.
So okay, and I'm out here at 7:20. So who's lying?
All of us. No, I'm just playing.
Either all of us or none of us, right? It's right, but it's all. How can we be in three different times? So literally, you all are 2 or 3 hours ahead of me. I'm 2 or 3 hours behind you. How are we all talking at the same time? How can we literally be dialoguing at the same time in different hours? Marlon, I see your. Vanessa, you can read it because I see it, but I can't see the whole thing.
Oh, it just, like, have you ever said or heard somebody say, like, man, I can see now what like that was good for me. Like, say you go through a difficult situation or departure from a person or whatever the case may be later on after you've gotten through the storm,
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to say, oh, you know what, I see that was good for me. I'm glad that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But doing it, we don't. Like when you say changing the past.
Well, so that's kind of two different things. What you're talking about is humanity only sees this much of something. Like right now, you can't look out your window and know who's coming down your block 2 blocks away. You can't see that with your human mind, right? And with your sight. You can't see it. You don't know the big picture. You don't know everything that's going on in your world. So all you know is what you know, and what you know you think is everything. But you don't see the big picture. So your human mind, when it's going through something, may not understand why this is happening because it doesn't have access to the full picture. That's why it says, according to your faith be it unto you, right? Or walk by faith and not by sight. You have to walk by your vision, your faith, your facts, what you choose to be true, not by just what you see, because you can't see everything. So you know how when you tell your kids to do something, right, and they don't feel like doing it, and then later on they're like, man, I'm sure glad you told me. All right, Dad, I have to admit, I'm glad you told me to do this or do that, right? It's not because they're trying to be disrespectful. They just don't have the big picture from their perspective. They don't know what it's like to be 30 when they're 13. They don't know why graduating from high school is such a big deal, or getting a degree is such a big deal, or not getting in trouble with the law at a young age is such a big deal, or any age, but they're not trying to be disrespectful. They just don't have enough information to understand why this may be important, because in their world right now, it's not. In their world right now, they can't see that. Right? So that is why what you say to someone isn't, when they don't agree, it's not always as personal as it feels. Whether it's adult to adult, man to man, woman to woman, man to woman, woman to man, child to parent, parent to child, we're all in different places in different places. So even if it's two adults, we're in different places in our mind, coming from different experiences with different beliefs. We're in different places. When a child is talking to a parent, they're talking about different things. When a parent is talking to a child, they're coming from different perspectives. So sometimes there's just things that you just don't get, you don't understand about what somebody's saying, right? Because they're in different places. So that's what you're talking about. It's like, oh, now that I have, because what they say, hindsight's 2020. Now that I've gone through this thing, I can look back and see the whole thing. But when you're going through it, right, you don't see the whole thing. You're right here. You're not seeing out here. You're not seeing back there. You can't see that much further ahead of you. So you don't see the whole thing. But once you've gone and look back, now you've seen the whole thing because it's finished. Right? So you're talking about that. But when we're talking about revision, right, what we're saying is that if I am, I also can say I always have. So if I'm going to be rich, I can tell myself I've always been rich. Because all of those things are happening at the same time. And so what you're doing is you're literally jumping lanes, like on a freeway, you're jumping lanes to different experiences that are all happening at the same time, but you're only having the one that you're aware of. That's why you're always describing yourself as something. I am broke. Okay, I am broke. That means you're in this lane. When is that happening? Right now. Okay, if you say I'm going to be rich, I am. When is that happening? Right now. So when you say going to be rich, now what you're basically saying is I'm getting over. I'm getting over on the freeway. You're basically saying, okay, I'm going to switch lanes. Everything is happening right now. So you can tell yourself what you want to happen, what is happening, or if you want to create something, you can also tell yourself, this is always what's been happening. I've always been rich. I've always had this or that or the other. Let me give you something great to say to yourself. You can simply say to yourself, I've always been preferred, prioritized, and chosen. I've always been loved, respected, honored, and supported. I've always been that way. I've always been preferred, prioritized, and chosen. I've always been loved, respected, honored, and supported. I've always been that way. Sometimes when you say I'm going to be, your current experience will say, hell no, that ain't going to happen. But why? How does the mind think? Well, the mind bases its future on its present. And the present believes things based on its past. So if you change the past, you change the present. When you change the present, you change the future. Why? Because when you change the past by saying I've always been, that means if you've always been something, aren't you that now? What?
Yes.
Yes, if you've always been something, aren't you that now?
Absolutely.
Well, if you are that now, what are your future beliefs based on? Generally, what are human beliefs based on? The future ones.
You're
Who
now.
I am being in the
Right
present.
now.
No, hell no, it's not.
The past
It's
experience.
based on the past
Who I really am.
that you're being right now, right? So you think that's why that people say, that's why people worry about the past so much. Why? Because when are they worrying about it right now? But why are they worried about the past right now? Because that's what they believe for the future. It's always been like this. It's always going to be like that. I don't want that happening again. Oh, hell no. Remember, right? When everybody in the present is using the past to believe their future. That's why people have such a hard time, quote unquote, changing, because they're in the present, they're believing how it's always been will always be. That's why people have such a hard time changing the future, because they have a hard time disconnecting themselves and saying, just because I was that doesn't mean I have to stay that way. But your past, like Marlon said, is the thing that most people see with the most clarity. It doesn't mean good or bad, but it's just they see it clearly. They clearly see what happened in high school. They can look back. You clearly see what happened when you were 14. You can look back. So you believe it more. Because you can describe it, you can hear it, you can this, you can that. So when you have that level of clarity in the present, it now makes you feel like, well, it's easier for me to believe that this is going to happen again. Because the new thing that I want to happen, I can't clearly see that. I can't hold that because it hasn't happened to me yet. So it makes it hard to believe that it will happen for you. Right? So you have two options. One, you can say, okay, well, just because I was doesn't mean I have to be. I can now choose to just get in this lane. Just because I was in this lane over here doesn't mean I have to stay here. This is the lane I got on the freeway. I don't have to stay on the slow lane. I can just get over. I can choose something different. I can change something different. We talked about that last week, right? How you looking at the outside world puts a signal into your brain, which then releases chemicals into your bloodstream, which then changes the expression of your cells, your biology. Your world is created from the inside out, not from the outside in. We did the science last week. We did the knowledge last week. That's what science means, knowledge, right? So that nobody can run and hide and think we're just up here talking about some incense and some candles and some voodoo, right? We are talking about it from a different perspective today because I want you to see it from a different perspective. So now you're looking at the past as hindsight is 2020. It's the most clear vision you have of anything because it's already happened to you. That's why you hold on to it so hard, right? But now if you're I am and you're the creator, as Sarita said, then that means you're the creator of every tense. So you can tell yourself, kind of like Karen said, you can tell yourself, you can choose how you remember things to be. Because when you're doing it in the present, well, you can create your so-called future. You can choose your future or choose your past. You're the same being doing it in the same time right here in the present. So you can say, I'm going to be rich, or you can say, I've always been rich. I've always been rich. Things have always worked out for me. I've always had a good relationship with my parents. I've always had a good relationship with my grandparents. I've always had a good relationship with this person. I've always been this. I've always been that. I've always been a success in business. I've always had a great relationship with my kids. I've always had this. I've always been that. But what I have found by doing that is it takes out one of the biggest things, at least in my experience, one of the biggest things it took out was fear. One of the biggest things it removed was fear. Because if I've always been that thing, if I've always been the thing I wanted, then I no longer have to worry about the consequences of not being it. I've only experienced what I wanted, which means I only am, as a result of my past, I am my future. And as a result of my past, I am my future, which allows me now to believe, well, I am my present, which allows me to believe my future. Because of what I've been, I am, and because of what I am, I believe to continue to be. So if you tell yourself, I've always been a success in business, I've always made good money, I've always had the best employees, I've always had good health, I've always paid my bills on time, upfront, early with leftovers, I've always been paid upfront, early, on time with tips, I've always been this, I've always had that, it's always been this way for me, I've always been in good shape, I've always had great relationships, it's always been this way for me. You are choosing your past, which then in your present, which means now you're also changing your future. Because your future has to line up with your past through your present. I've always been healthy. I've always been smart. I've always had good grades. I've always, whatever it is. That changes by changing that past. You're changing your future through your present. So if you believe you can create a future from where you are, why can't you? And all you're doing by creating is doing what? Choosing. Because creation is finished. All you're doing is choosing. So if you can choose a new future, you can choose a past. That's the truth, because I am is in the middle choosing all of them. And I am is the creator. Your credit is not the creator. Your age is not the creator. The weather is not the creator. Nothing outside of you is the creator. There's only one creator, and that creator is internal, not external. That creator is consciousness, not humanity that made consciousness, not humanity that goes by time, not humanity that has credit, not humanity. God doesn't need credit. God's the owner of everything. God don't need credit. I own everything. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. I am doesn't need credit. I am is the owner of everything. So everything in your world is all happening at the same time. So you can choose a different experience in your past. You can say, you know what? I always got along with that person. You know what? No, it was like this. Things aren't real or false. They're what you remember them to be. They are what you remember them to be. They are not real or false or true. They are what you remember them to be. That's why you're constantly telling yourself who you are, what you think things are going to be, or how you remember them. Because that's how you keep them alive or you make them alive. You're constantly choosing. Just literally like lanes in a freeway, you're constantly choosing. You got on the slow lane, you got to figure out, do you want to stay there? You got to figure out how many lanes you want to get over. And if you get over one lane, you got to get back over in the other lane to get off at some point. You're constantly choosing. You're constantly having your experience moving forward by choosing the lanes you're in, by choosing which thoughts you tell yourself. It puts you in different circumstances. There's a part of Marlon that grew up poor. There's a Marlon that grew up rich. There is a Leslie that grew up like this, or a Leslie that grew up like that. We have infinite versions of our histories and of our experiences that we can choose, and we choose the one that we're aware of, and we're aware of the one that we tell ourselves. Yes, you can change the past because the past is all happening at the same time, present and future. It's all happening at the same time. And you're the creator. You get to choose how this went, just as much as how you think it'll go. It's all the same thing. And so when you start telling yourself you've always been, and you're like, well, if I've always been, then this could never be. And then if this can never be, then that in the future that I was once afraid of can't ever happen because I've never been that. All the things we believe generally that's possible for us are based on who we're being now, and who we're being now is based on who we've been. We just keep repeating or reheating the same things. That's why, like I said, it's so hard for people to think they can change. But what does it say? Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing of your mind. Renewing, changing, choosing something different. New. Attach your consciousness to something new. Start telling yourself something new. That is how you transform. That's how you change something, is by renewing your mind. Renew something different. Reattach your consciousness to a new awareness of something. That is how you transform. That's how you change lanes. That's how you have a different past, present, or future. No, that never happened to me. I've never been out of shape. I've never been broke. I've never been sick. That never happened to me. I've never had bad credit. I've never paid a bill late. I've never had a bad relationship with that person. I've never had and your human mind is like, what are you talking about? You see it right there, and it's like, no, this is what it is. No, this is how it's always been this way. I don't know what you're talking about. You go ahead, but this is what it is because I'm the creator. This is what it is. This is how it's always been. This is how it's always been. You've renewed your mind. But your mind is like your children. If you give them something you didn't mean to give them, if you give your child soda from 4 years old to 6 years old, didn't know better or didn't think it was a big deal, then all of a sudden you go to a conference and they say water is good. When you come home and want to give that child water instead of soda, what do you think the child's going to do? Right? Just act a pure fool. But it's not because they're wrong or they're crazy. They don't want soda. They want what you've always been giving them. They didn't ask for soda. They didn't know what soda was before you gave it to them. So they don't want soda. They want what you've always been giving them. They don't call it good or bad. They just call it normal. They call it what I'm used to. So when you now start introducing something new, when you want to renew your mind, what do you think that mind is going to do? That ego mind is going to do? It's going to throw a fit. Generally. Now, it doesn't have to. That's not a belief we have to hold. But in most human experiences, that's what happens. It doesn't. Your ego mind doesn't care about right or wrong. It only cares about maintaining what you have told it to be true. That is right. I'm a crackhead. That's right to the ego mind. It's true. It doesn't think it's bad. It thinks that's the identity that we are holding. So we got to hold on to it because that's life to the ego mind. My business is struggling. Okay, well then your mind is going to keep repeating that to you. And then it's going to keep forming your biology, your physical experience. Your ego mind doesn't care what you put in it. It's like a car seat. It doesn't care if you put a soda can in there and strap it up, if you put a doll in there and strap it up, if you put your child in there and strap it up, a boy, a girl, a this, or it doesn't care. It's designed to hold things. Your ego mind doesn't care what you put in it. It's designed to hold what you put in it. And it calls that life. So it's not going to, it doesn't want to die. It doesn't know this new you that you're talking about. It doesn't know that you've never had a bad experience with that person. It doesn't know that. So you have to keep telling it until it does. This is what it is. No, I've never had a bad experience. No, we've always had a good experience. And you will see that actually start happening. It'll blow your mind. You will be like, I can't believe this is actually true. It is true. It is a hard concept for most people to get and understand and accept. But so I haven't really got into it. I kind of have to. We got to make sure we're mature enough to understand it. But I'll introduce a little bit of it today, just for your viewing purposes. Right, but that's revision. It means you can use the past to create your future. You can recreate your past by telling yourself a different story. Because you are I am. You create everything. Everything is happening now. Creation's already finished. So when you're recreating your past by telling yourself a different story, you're just choosing a different version of yourself. You're saying that I had a different experience at that point. This is how my experience went. If you think you can create your future, why can't you change your past? You're the same being doing both. And everything is happening at the same time. If you can get in the slow lane and get in the fast lane, you mean to tell me because you're in the fast lane, you can't get back in the slow lane? How are you going to get off the freeway? That means you'd be stuck. Do you think God is stuck? You're not stuck. I am is never stuck. I am is stuck if it's unwilling to make a change or a choice because of what we tell ourselves. Oh, well, I'm waiting on this. Oh, well, I'm waiting on that. Oh, well, I'm waiting on this. Okay, well, you're not stuck. You're not experiencing a lack of choice. You just won't make the choice. But you're waiting on either someone who was created just like you, or you're waiting on something that you created. What if God was waiting on light to show up? You're waiting to get paid. You're waiting to be successful. You're waiting to be healthy. Who are you waiting? Like who? Like I would like to know, who are you waiting on? If you're waiting on another human, they have no more power than you do. If you're waiting on a circumstance, you are the circumstance itself. That's you. The circumstance is you in flesh. It's an opportunity for you to be who you are, if you like it, or be something else as a result of seeing it and say, oh, okay, I'm going to transform myself by renewing my mind. I'm going to renew. I'm going to look at this thing and say, I don't like it. I'm going to renew. I'm going to reframe it. I'm going to remodel it. Right? Or I'm going to be. When you don't know who you are, you don't know if something's an opportunity or a problem. Say it again. If you don't know who you are, you don't know if something's an opportunity or a problem. Remember when I was having this conversation? Is she on here?
I'm not sure if you see Sparkle Bailey's hand, by the way.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sparkle Bailey. Yeah, I do. Go ahead.
I'm like, no, tell this story. Wait, tell the story.
No. All right. So, okay. Do you remember when Jesus was a young person and his parents went from one place to another and they got to where they were going and they looked up and he wasn't there? Does anybody remember that? And when they went back and they said, "Hey man, what you doing? We lost you. Why are you still over here?" Does anybody remember what he said?
He was
He
about
said,
his
don't
father's
you know?
business.
He was
Yeah.
about his father's business.
Mm-hmm.
Now watch this. Now, when there's a story where him and his disciples went from one place to another, and they came to a city where there's an insane man who came out to meet him. And this insane man lived in a graveyard, which metaphorically means living in the dead past, meaning they keep recreating things over and over that they don't like, so they stay as they are. They're living in a graveyard. And living in a graveyard, keep reliving the dead past will make you insane. As metaphorically what it's saying, metaphysically and metaphorically what it's saying. So he came out to meet him. So when they interacted at the end of the story, they saw that same man with all his clothes on, sitting at the feet of Jesus, meaning at the wisdom. Feet means wisdom. One of the things metaphysically it means wisdom. Sitting at the wisdom at the feet of Jesus, sane and in his right mind. Now, if Jesus was about his Father's business, what does that insane man that came to meet him represent?
The devil.
Nope. See, this is what I mean. What does it represent?
Is it like
Sin.
being in a state of confusion?
No.
Being a student.
No.
Hmm.
Hmm.
What does the insane man sitting at Jesus' feet represent?
What is the insane man himself? What does that represent?
Is that supposed to be represent ourselves, or we represent
He wasn't aware.
ourselves?
Our conscience.
It's wonderful. This is why we do it. Because people don't tell you this represents. How could you ever be about your Father's business if your Father's business is to do what? To heal the sick, to be an example of how to do this? How could you ever do that if you never had an opportunity? How do you teach if there's no student? How do you parent if there's no child? You don't when you know you're about your Father's business, you know what your Father's business is, right? And he came to do what? He said he came to basically not talk to the righteous. He came to save the sinners. He came to save the people who were erring in their mind, who weren't thinking properly, to show them how to do that. But how do you do that if you don't have an insane man? How do you do that if you don't have a paralyzed man by the pool? How do you do what you do and be who you are if there's no one or nowhere or know how to do it? So when you're being about your Father's business, you are being about business. That is your business. Your business is being about your Father's business. Your business is being about what you came here to be about. You did not create a body for no reason and get in it. You were not poor where you came from. You weren't bored where you came from. You didn't have a problem. You weren't running from the law. You weren't running from child support. You weren't running from the court. You weren't running from taxes and the IRS. You came from a perfect place as perfection, and you decided to create a body and have a physical experience. The reason you did that is to be about business. You came for an experience and to have experiences. But how can you do that if there's no insane man? How do you do that? So the insane man represents opportunity. How do you have liquid and a cannabis business if people don't drink or people don't use that to help themselves or whatever? How do you do that? How do you have a business with no customers? How do you be a parent with no children? There has to be another thing for you to do that. There has to be two sides of a coin or of currency to make it legal tender. So when you know who you are, you understand whether something's an opportunity. When you don't, you only see things as problems. You can't separate or differentiate between the two because it all starts with you. He said, I'm about my Father's business. Don't you know that I'm supposed to be about my Father's business? Don't you know that? Well, no, most people don't know that. Why? Because they're not. Why would you know something you're not? I'm not a baseball player. I remember talking to Gavin. I was like, man, how do you even know what pitch it is? And he was like, oh, man, he explained the whole thing. I was like, what are you talking about? Because I'm not that. He is that. I'm not that. Being an adult doesn't make me that. Him being younger doesn't make him no less than that. He knows what he knows because of who he is. It's not an age thing. That's why Jesus, when he said that, was a child. Your awareness of mind doesn't have an age like that. That's why it doesn't stop you from knowing when you're young, and it doesn't make you know when you're old. That is voluntary. This is about you. So and when you know who you are, being about your business, being about your Father's business, being about the business of your I amness, of your awareness of being. Why are you here? What are you here for? Why did you create this body to come? Instead of complaining about the world, why don't you figure out why you're here? Then you'll actually be able to use the world as it's intended to be, as your playground, as your campus, as all the resources and stuff you put here to express yourself with. You made a boat, what? To express yourself, to get from one place to another over water. A ship, a submarine, you go under the water. You're creating all these things as expressions of you have a desire to do something. And so you created something to do it. So this whole physical world is here for you to express yourself. And by creating, you've created everything you could ever express. So how do you create now? By choosing. Creation's finished. What humanity calls creation is choosing. If you go to a buffet and your plate is empty and then you put everything on it and you eat, did you create the food? So you created your plate by choosing what to put on it, right? So if creation is finished, you're not creating anything. You are creating your life by choosing what you put on it, by what you put in it, by your choice. Who's choosing you? So who are you is the question. Who are you being that you would choose that and not that? That is creation, is your choosing. But you are choosing. Who are you? Who do you believe yourself to be? If you know who you are, then you know you can use revision. You can say, you know what, I've always been like this. I use it. You know what? No, I think I'm going to change that relationship. I think I'm going to change that. No, I've decided now I've always been that. All you have is now. So whatever you tell yourself you are now, you actually are right now. When you tell yourself something is that way right now, it's actually that way right now. All you have is now. Your I am, your eternal present. So you're going to use now to say, oh, okay, that. Oh, yeah, that. That was the way it was. Whatever you tell yourself it is now, that's it, what it is. That's what it was. That's what it will be. That's it. They came out of the boat. They, him and the disciples. The story went from they to him and the dude, him and the insane man. The disciples gone. They didn't know how to deal with that. That wasn't for them. That was an advanced placement class. That was an honors class. They weren't ready for that one. Right? Your higher mind is ready for everything. It's about the business. You have to figure out what your business is, literally and figuratively. Why are you here? Who are you? What are you? What do you like? What are your proclivities? What things do you tend toward? What are your gifts? What are the things you like to do, to be? What are those things? Most of us are unhappy. Most of us hate Mondays because how should you feel about a day that you don't get to do nothing you want, nothing you like, and it's going to go by and you have one less? How do we generally feel about that? Why do Saturdays or the weekends generally feel so good for most people? Because they're finally doing something they want to do. Why do you think most people are miserable? If the majority of your day is doing something you don't want to do, if the majority of the days of your week is doing something you don't want to do, the majority of the weeks of your month is doing something you don't want to do, and the majority of the months of your year is doing something you don't want to do, how should you feel about that? Should you feel joy? That's not going to work generally. Doesn't work for most people. And they try to get it all back in a 2-week vacation. And 50 of the other ones suck. You wonder why you feel the way about this thing you created to have. What does it say? This is the day that I have made.
Let us rejoice.
Who's doing that on Monday? I didn't even use the famous Tuesday yet. You can't even get to Monday. Look at how bad people talk about Monday. Like you can avoid it. How you gonna get to Tuesday? How you gonna get to the next weekend? Why does Monday have to be worse than Saturday? Why can't Monday be Saturday? Because one of them you're expressing your freedom, and the other one you're expressing your slavery. How should a slave feel? But you've done this to yourself. You're not about your father's business. All of you have gifts. All of you, and I can always tell when you found them. I can tell when Leslie found hers. She hasn't been the same since I first met her. I can tell. I can always tell. It's what it is, right? This is the way, this is how this works. You were supposed to be about your father's business. What is that? Then when you are that, you'll always see the opportunity. You won't see problems. You'll see what humanity calls that. Humanity calls it problems. Divinity calls it opportunity. Because without this thing, I couldn't be me. This thing I actually created. Awareness created that insane man, that insane mind. Why? So that it could heal it as a demonstration or example of how to do that. Without this demonstration or example, why would they ever believe Jesus was anything? Don't you want proof? Hey man, who are you? He said he can, but when he started walking the water, they're like, wait a minute, turn water into wine. Man, he even keep the party going. Or right, got the dude standing up over here, the insane. Well, wait, maybe he is. But what does it say? Let your light shine. Light means what?
Awareness.
Awareness, truth. And awareness is the truth. I am the way. I am the light. I am the truth. Let your awareness shine. Let your I amness shine. Let the I amness that you're supposed to be about the business as. It created the insane man. So when we say you create your reality, yes, you do. But you create it to have an experience with it as you are being. And so since this being knew that it was about his father's business, then everything was an opportunity. Nothing was a, why did this happen to me? Oh, I didn't understand. But I would have never thought that. Well, I didn't mean that. Well, that's what you get when you're not about your father's business. What do you think you get when you're wandering? What do you think you find when you're wandering? What do you think you stumble upon when you're lost? When is that worked out? Right? Children of Egypt were in wandering around their wilderness for 40 years and right, the number of birth until they got it right. You're going to wander around till you get it right. You are going to wander around till you get it right. Now, you can justify your wandering by how hard you work, how many services you go to, how long you're in church, or how much you donate, or how much you can wander. You can justify your wandering with all the physical things, but this is not a physical thing. You're not human. You are divinity having an experience as divinity in humanity. You still are who you are. Everything starts in the mind. There are no exemptions. There are no exceptions. You don't get a get out of jail free card. You can't bribe yourself out. You can't donate to a super PAC. You can't get some legislation. None of that's going to work. None of it. This is you are, I am. That's it. You are the creator of all things. If you literally want to change your life, change your past. Doesn't mean you have to go back into it. Start telling yourself a different story about where you come from, about who you've been and how things are. And you'll stop worrying in the present about your future. Just another way to see it, apply whatever works for you. People who know me, no, I don't really talk about the past all that much. Oh man, remember when I used to? People tell you I don't. People tell me there's people I know that I remember in my mind that I don't talk to at all. I'm just I'm in motion. I'm in constantly ever forward, ever upward, onward. I'm not one of those. Oh, remember so and so from second grade? Nope. You want to talk to someone from third grade? Nope. I'm not one of them reunion people. Didn't go to no college reunion, high school reunion. I'm keeping it pushing. That's just my own personality. I know. My brother's the exact opposite. One of my brothers, the one under me on the call right here, Marcus, he's the exact opposite because he's different than me. Why should he be like me? Why should I be like him? Right? God created us all unique. You're all unique. So copying somebody, being jealous of somebody, worrying about somebody, you don't know who you are. And I am made a physical thing to be what it wanted it to be. So if I am made it, I am is perfect. What do you think it made? A perfect thing called Leslie, a perfect thing called Leanne. So why in the hell would you want to be Marlon? Why would you want to be Latoya? You were perfect when you made your physical expression. Why would you want, how can you get more perfect by being something you're not? Why would you compare yourself to anyone? Why would you do that? Why would you want to be like somebody else? You're defeating the whole purpose of perfection. You walked yourself out of perfection. You are perfect. There's nothing ever like you on this planet. Literally, never was, never has been, never will be, and is not now. Be you. Just be good at it. All of us are us, but most of us suck at it. That's why we'd rather be somebody else. Man, this thing for me, this whole thing I'm doing ain't working, so I'd rather be Marlon. Boy, I'm just ooh. And if I can't be Marlon, then I'm mad at Marlon for not being able to be Marlon because I don't want to be me. So then I'm hating on Marlon. Man, he ain't really like that. Man, he ain't all that. I mean, he ain't really. I mean, he ain't. Somebody doing it don't care. They ain't thinking about you, right? Be you. You are perfect as you are. If you would actually entertain that thought and realize that if I am perfect before I made this body, then this body got to be perfect. So the only reason it may not be expressing that is because I've entertained a thought that's not true. So then let me actually renew my mind, go back to the thought of, if I am perfect and I made this body got to be perfect. So then if I just start telling myself this body is perfect, any physical thing I have is perfect, my business is perfect, my body's perfect, my relationship is perfect. And if I've always been, that means I've always been perfect. So that means my money's always been perfect, my business has always been perfect, my health has always been perfect. See how that works? It's the same thing. This is how it works. This is, you are who you are. But you're only experiencing what you tell yourself. You got the whole cake. You're only eating the slice though. Right? Sparkle Bailey, is there anything you want to say?
I don't know now. I don't know. Earlier, Marlon mentioned in the comments, you can't have effective communication with someone who chooses a lie to be their truth. And so when he said that, I was like, this is where I was coming from last week. And I know we talked
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
so the part that is like, okay, let's go over this one more time.
Yes.
So we get all this good game, right?
Yeah.
And then we step outside knowing like, you can't tell me nothing, I got
Right.
this,
Right.
yada yada yada. And then we go interact with someone in our home or in our place of business or in our family, extended family, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have the truth in them. They don't have the awareness yet of the truth. And so their truth is, you are this,
Mm-hmm.
Sparkle Baby.
Mm-hmm.
You are what I see you as, that's what you are. And so it's like, this is what it is with you. This is our relationship, yada, yada, yada. But you're in a headspace of like, you know what? Whatever happened then, that didn't even happen.
Mm-hmm.
What really happened is we've always had healthy communication. We've always had, like you said, everybody treats me well and means me well and treats me kindly. Everybody. And I'm all about it. I'm all in this space with it. And then I step outside. And then it's just like, and then you were saying like, okay, but you created that. And I'm like, wait, but I don't want to punch nobody in the face, coach. Like, I don't want to, like the old me, like we ain't gonna talk about her no more. She's feminine now. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not with all that aggression. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with people who remember that aggression and they're not in a space where they're ready to move forward and blah, blah, blah. And so it's just like, what are we doing? Like, help me and Marlon with this one. Help us.
Yes. So, like I said, you're always creating everything. You're always creating everything to express who you're being. So, the insane man that everybody in the town was afraid of had to exist in order for Jesus to be about his business. And Jesus being about his business didn't see the insane man as a problem. It's saying that it saw the insane man as an opportunity. It saw the same man everyone else saw, but it sees it different because it's different. Humanity sees it as a problem because humanity's on the same level as the insane man. They just may not be insane, but they're the same, but they're insane in another area of life. They're insane in another way. They're insane in another thing. They're on the same level. That's why they see it all the same. Jesus was the only one that saw it different because it's not on the same level. I'm about my Father's business. So this insane man to me represents opportunity. It doesn't look like a different man. It's not you call him Cedric and I call him Henry. No, we're both looking at the same person, but what we see is based on who we are. Who we are is how I see this. It's not that I see a different person. I see this differently because I'm different than you. I'm about my Father's business. You're just here trying to make a living. I created life. You're over here trying to make a living. Father, return to me the glory I had with you before the world was. I remember who I am. So I see all things as I am. I have not forgotten who I am. When you walk out of, you're pumped up and everything like that, and you walk out of your house, where did you go? Where did the you that was pumped up before you left the house go? Because when you're at these people, you're not the same purpose. You're not being the same person that you were in the house.
I forgot you're right. I forgot my purpose. And I instantly go back into that person who's guarding and defends herself.
Yeah.
Like I have to protect myself. Yeah. And so all it goes out the window and I'm ready to just protect myself.
Right.
And I'm
who are you,
having to do that.
So then who are you being that has to do that?
Yeah.
The person over here, if you read that, what story? What is that? Okay. Watch this. Let me show you real quick. Vanessa, will you pull up the insane man in the graveyard? I can't remember which. If you just go on Google and you please pull up the insane man in the graveyard. Let me show you. Let me show you opportunity versus problem, right? I think was it in Luke? I don't remember what it was, but you'll pull it up. All right, let me show you. Yep, it was in Luke. Perfect. All right, so watch this. Okay, so watch this. Then they sailed. So they is the second word in here. That means he's generally talking about his disciples, right? His disciplines of mind, right? The 12 disciples, your 12 cranial nerves. That's what the zodiac is talking about, all the other stuff. So they sailed, right? So when he stepped out, let's talk about Jesus. When he stepped out onto the land, there met him a certain man. So that man met him. When he stepped out, that man was already there. There, a certain man. So what do I tell you? Every time you're meeting a man, right, a human, what are you meeting?
The mind.
A mind. So there met a certain mind from the city who had demons for a long time. What are demons?
I want to say opportunities, but
unawareness, like not being.
Yeah, demons are your internal. There are your internal discussions. They're your internal beliefs. They're really the internal discussions that are going on within you that are contrary to your desire, to your desired being. They're the opposite. Devil is doubt. Demons are the devil's children. So it's almost just like all the things that come from that area, right? Internal dialogue, internal discussions, internal beliefs, the things that you're harboring within you. And what to say for a long time. And so when you have stress, fear, worry, doubt, anxiety, guilt, shame, what happens when you have those for a long time? And he wore no clothes. Look at what all those things inwardly will do to you outwardly. And he wore no clothes. It means you were vulnerable. You are exposed. You don't have anything covering you. You're exposed. Nor did he live in a house, but in the tombs. You're living in a coffin of death. That's why he's in the graveyard. Now, when Jesus cried out, so this man came to meet him. This mind came to meet him. When Jesus saw, when he saw Jesus, he cried out, fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" Now, when he stepped out of this boat, have you seen anywhere in here where Jesus introduced himself? And to the person that had demons and had lived in tombs, when he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell down before him. And said, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" How did he know who Jesus was? How did he know that was his name? You don't realize that that certain, what did it say? A certain man, a certain mind. He has a certain mind. Jesus has a certain mind. That mind that the insane man has drove him crazy with no clothes on in the tomb. This Jesus mind, right, said, return to me the glory I had with you before the world was, said, I'm about my Father's business. I am my Father are one. I know my Father whom you call your God, right? Whatever I thank you, Father, that you hear me. I know that you always hear me, and I know I have what I asked of you. Those are two different minds. And the human mind, the mind that doesn't know itself, is always going to bow before the one that does. The one that doesn't always knows who you are. So when you meet that certain mind, you see it as a problem because you forgot who you were. You walked out of your house and forgot who you were. So now those same people, they're still the same minds, but you see it either as a problem when you forget or as an opportunity because of who you are. And when they see you as you should be seen, they will say the same thing to you and about you. They will bow before you. It means they will get along with you. They will submit to your concept of yourself. They will submit themselves to the concept of yourself. Right? It says, I beg you, do not torment me. For he had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. He commanded all those thoughts, shame, fear, guilt, stress. Everybody's afraid of something. Oh, I'm just managing my anxiety. Oh, well, everybody's afraid of something. Oh, well, I feel so guilty. I feel so shamed. All those things are putting you out here butt naked in a tomb. Putting you in the graveyard of repeating the old thoughts over and over and over that stop you from growing and going. For he commanded the unclean spirit, the thoughts out of the mind. For those thoughts in the mind, for it had often seized him. Seizures. And it often seized him, and he was kept under guard, bound with chains and shackles. And he broke the bonds and was driven by the demon, driven by those thoughts into the wilderness, into insanity, into being lost. Weren't the children of Israel, God's kids, in the wilderness? Out there, the demons in the same place they were in. Because this is what happens. Whether you're a demon or a child of God who should know it better, you will be lost, confused, dazed. You'll be in the same place. Because the law is no respecter of persons. If you are not thinking properly, this is how you're going to end up in the wilderness, in a place of confusion, where you're wandering around until you figure out who you are and get this right. You're going to wander. So every time we come, but I'm talking to the whole team. Every time you come on this call, and like I say, Tuesday comes and you pump yourself up, and now Tuesday's here, and you out there acting like it's Tuesday and not Saturday. This is what's going to happen. This is showing you what happens when you lose your mind, when you lose your concept of self, when you forget who you are. But it's easy to do when you're not about no business, when you're not about your Father's business, when you're not driven by a vision or a purpose for yourself. But it's hard to do that when you don't know who you are. When you think I'm just a human. Oh, I'm just human. Oh, we make mistakes. Oh, nobody's perfect. Oh, everybody's afraid of something. Oh, you're saying all the exact opposite things that Christ's mind would say, your higher mind would say. There is no condemnation to those that are in Christ Jesus. So why would you be living in the graveyard? Why would you keep reliving things and there's no condemnation to those that are in Christ Jesus? That's what repent means, just a radical change of mind. It doesn't mean guilt, shame, or condemnation. You put that on you, or you allow other people to do it. You allow other people to judge you, and they got the same, if not more, problems than you. So when you're in this class on Saturday, I see you, Veronica. When you're in this class on Saturday and you walk out, like I said, and it's Monday or Tuesday, and you forget who you are, you go from now the opportunity that you created to be who you are, to respond as you are, to now this is a problem. Because everybody else in the village is running from him. They got to chain him up. And Jesus walking, and the same person they got to chain is bowing before him. So it's not a problem or an opportunity. It's whichever one you're being. That same person is a problem for everybody. And for one person, it's an opportunity. That same person, they got to chain him up. They're so afraid of him. That same person that everybody else is afraid of is bowing before this person's feet, begging him not to do this or begging. So it's the same person. So then how could it be? It can't be one or the other. It's you or one or the other. You either know who you are or you don't. And if you do, it's an opportunity. If you don't, it's a problem. And it's going to drive you crazy. And you think it's them driving you crazy. No, it's you're crazy before you got to them. Wasn't that certain man crazy before Jesus got there? Jesus didn't make him crazy like I knew him, but Jesus created opportunity. You're always creating opportunities. You're always, when people call law of attraction, what you're always pulling in experiences that allow you to reflect who you're being. You're always creating your reality by choosing, and you're always choosing by who you're being. So when you're out here, you're gonna in this class, oh, it's all good. Everybody, boy, ain't no mountain high enough. You can climb Kilimanjaro. You can be everything. But when Monday comes, Tuesday comes, and you forget, now that same mountain looks impenetrable. That same mountain looks like, now how's your business gonna work? It's Tuesday now. It's Monday night. There ain't nobody clapping, cheering, everybody on the call, encouraging you, sis, let me give you some flowers and accountability. No, you by yourself. You on your own. Did you see it said they on the boat when he stepped out? And the rest of the story, was there a they? No. It was he and the demon. Yeah, it's they on this call. When you get off, guess who it is? It's you. It's you and your business. It's you and your health. It's you and your relationships. It's you and your kids. It's you and your money. It's you. It's you. And you better know who you are. Otherwise, you're gonna be out there in that wilderness, just walking around, complaining, whining, crying, being dehydrated, hot, lonely, by yourself. This is what happens. Veronica, yes.
So Leanne put in the chat, what if it's someone you're practicing to be like? And she probably needs to add more context now because you've gone way further up.
Yes.
Thanks, Coach. Yeah, when you were talking about not being like somebody else or comparing yourself, or that's when I said, what if you're practicing to be like that person, just aspiring to take on the qualities that you see in them?
There's nothing better than a good example. So that's a good thing. However, make sure that the example you're following is something that inspires you to do that thing your way. To always remain that it's you doing it. You're saying, wow, I take a lot of good ideas from people. I'm like, wow, I didn't know I could think about it like that. Oh, wow, I didn't know I could. But even if I'm eating food off of somebody's plate, I got to digest it. I got to be able to chew that. That's got to sit right in my stomach. So even though it may look good and taste good, and it may be good, just as good for me as it is for them, I have to do it in a way that works for me. So the example is great, but the example is an opportunity to see how you can do your version of that. It just lets you know if they're a millionaire, then I can be a millionaire. I don't got to be a millionaire the way they are or the way they did it, but the idea I can take and be like, okay, I'm gonna be a millionaire my way. I'm gonna run my business like they do my way. I see how they schedule their staff. Oh, I see their hours a little bit different. Oh, yes, those are good things. But you always take those things and you make sure that you put your own sauce on it, that you tailor it to who you're being, because you're the one that has to make it work and keep it working. It's something that you have to be able to digest and make a part of your bloodstream and your body. It has to be an idea that you take that you can make a part of your biology, a part of your physical expression. So yes, we're not an island unto ourselves in the sense of, yes, we came here to have interactions with people, and those interactions are supposed to affect us. That's why it's so important, the ones we have, to have good company, right? Because shoot, the company you keep matters. Company is designed to have an influence on you, right? So you want to make sure that you surround yourself with the right people, and then you take all the good things from people around you, and then you put your own sauce on it. Oh, wow, that's a good way to think about that. Okay, all right, I'm gonna do that good thing in a way that's good for me. So two things can be true, but what happens generally is that people take the thing and they lose the thing and they fall in love with the person. So then when the person goes wrong, they lose the good thing because they throw the person and the thing away. People don't even love God, they love the pastor. I'm just going to tell you guys the truth on here. They don't love God. So then what happens? As soon as the pastor messes up, what happens to God? God is thrown out with the pastor. People, oh, he's a liar. They ain't read the Bible in 2 years since. Oh, she did this. They throw out because they don't realize they go too far with it. Right? It is that person who's a good example. They're only a good example because they're thinking properly. That's what you copy. You copy the ability to think about yourself the way you want to express. And sometimes people example let you like, oh, they're thinking about this better than I am. They're thinking about this better. They're almost like a student who has a good, you're like, oh, I never knew you could do that as a math fact. I never knew that you could, divide it this way, right? So you're like, oh, okay, somebody showed you a better way to do something. But the only way they know a better way than you, so to speak, is because they're thinking about themselves better than you in this area and in this way. So what that should inspire you to do is raise the level of your concept of yourself in that area. Tell yourself whatever it is you like about them, tell yourself you are that your way. Because any physical thing that you see is only because they're expressing what they're thinking about themselves in that way. So if they're a good boss, they think of themselves that way. So that's what you take. Oh, I think of myself, you know what? In order for them to be a good boss, like, wow, they're a great boss. So that means you only know that because you see it. But you can only see what somebody is being. So that means if you see them being something and you call it good, that means they're thinking good. They're thinking properly. So you take that. You take the thought that creates the thing you see and you adopt and adapt that. And you say, and you identify yourself with and as that. That way you're getting what you see as an opportunity. Like, wow, I never knew I could. Okay, I'm going to take that and put my own, I am that now. I'm a great boss. I'm a great employer, or I'm a great wife, or a great this, or whatever it is you see from someone. You only see it because they're expressing it. They're only expressing it because they're being it. They're only being it because that is their concept of themselves in that area. So you adapt the concept. That way you're never caught by the person, whether they turn out to be something later, or whether you lose contact with them, or whether they die, or you get to keep the thing that lives forever, which is the concept, which is the consciousness, the awareness that produces the thing that inspires you, that you respect, that you like. You take the thing that lasts forever, right?
Yeah, I have specific mentors that I've followed, and I find that the more I'm following and spending time with them online, I start thinking the way that they're thinking, and my life has really transformed in a way I want it to, because I adapt a lot of their thought process and beliefs. And so, yeah, I just started to question, like, oh, am I being something that I'm not?
No.
Or how can I find...
No, you cannot be something you're not, whether that's good or bad, so to speak. You can't be something you're not. Every bit of information you have to learn. So every bit of information that comes to you, right? You have to learn how to either take it or not. And if you don't take it, you don't become it. If you do take it, you learn how to take it to become the you that you want to be, because it's going to go through you and come right back out the other way in physical form, in expression. Right? Thoughts are just seeds. They're things that you're going to plant into yourself to be pushed out. So every thought you take, the best way to do it is forget the person, almost close your eyes and listen to the information. Close your eyes. There's a great book I have over here somewhere called Catch Me If You Can. It was a great movie by Leonardo DiCaprio. And it basically, one of the greatest books I've ever read. The book is incredible, right? But one of the things, when his dad was trying to get a loan at a bank, if you guys remember the movie, he pulled up and he said he had Leonardo DiCaprio, his son, be the chauffeur. And so that people, when he rolled up to the front, he got him a nice car, rolled up to the front, had him come, and he had him wear a certain outfit. His dad wore a certain outfit. He said, and basically he was like, you basically present an image. He said it's almost like the Yankees. People fall so in love with the uniform that you've already won before you played. He was talking about humanity's tendency to fall in love with outward looking things and not be able to judge the heart, not be able to perceive what's inwardly going on. So you get duped, you get tricked. That's why I say don't follow people. Don't lean on people. Lean on the information within the person. Lean on the truth that you're getting from the person. That's why I talk up here crazy all the time. That's why I talk every week, because I'm not asking any of you to follow me. I don't got on some kind of special t-shirt. I don't ask you to wear one. I'm not making you guys pledge allegiance to any organization in here, right? That's not what this is, because I'm not trying to get you to follow me. I am laying out information for you to take, adopt, and adapt the best you can, the best you see fit to apply it in the lives and the way you want to live. That is the best way to get any information, is because all information is designed to get you to look at yourself and find the truth within yourself, so that's the only way you can literally express what you created to be. Leanne, you created Leanne to be an expression of yourself. So there's actually nothing that Leanne doesn't know, because all the information I am is within Leanne. That's what makes Leanne alive. So when Leanne wants to know something, you go and say, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? Hey, what do you think about that? Leanne, your true nature is omniscient. It's all knowing. What did Wallace Waddle say? Genius is God's omniscience flowing through the human mind. That's what genius is. It's God's all-knowingness flowing through the human mind. It's I am's all-knowingness flowing through the human mind. That's genius. So you already have all the answers in you. So you use everything, whether it's a mentor or another person or a circumstance or whatever, you use it to look at yourself and say, okay, who do I want to be in this moment? What do I want to know, be, do, or have? You're constantly using things as an opportunity to express yourself. The omnipotence of yourself, the all capable, the all powerful aspect of yourself that can choose to be or do or have anything. That's what makes us different than any other living being, is that we have the ability. A bird can't say, I'm tired of this flying thing, I want to be a dog. It can't do that. Only because we are the only ones made in the image and likeness. We're the only ones that have that divinity that's clicked all the way on. All the way up to the penthouse, to the top floor. All the other ones are in the same building because they come from the same thing, but they're on the lower levels. They don't have that hotel card. They ain't got that key to rise up to the top, to be able to say, I want to be a dancer, or I want to be a business owner, I want to be a this or that. Only I am can do that, that level of that awareness. So yes, it's wonderful. There's wisdom to counsel. There's absolutely great to be surrounded by good people but get the information, drop the person. Don't ever follow the person. Always follow the information, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I take whatever resonates with me.
Correct.
And then apply it to myself, and it kind of pokes out my genius of like, yeah,
correct.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Correct.
And apply it to my life.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Welcome. What time? All right. Questions? Statements? Questions?
Okay, Coach. So what I thought about after you said all of that, what I thought about was I need to I'm going to take the opportunity of all those moments where I stepped outside, and on top of my coat, I will wear defense or the past, like the way I remember it instead of the way I need to remember it, because it wasn't all bad, right? I just focused on,
It's whatever you tell yourself it was.
Yeah.
You get to, because there's a version of your life that sucks. There's a version of your life that is great. There's a version of your life that that sucked in the past. There's a version of your life in the past that was great. You get to choose which one of those you occupy. You get to tell yourself is true, because creation's finished. So every version of you and every experience you could ever have is all living right now, present. And the only one you're living is the one you're aware of. All the lanes on the freeway are there, but the only one you're in is the one you're experiencing. But they're all there. So there is no truth or lie. It's only the truth is the one you're in, so to speak. That's the one that you've made alive. But the one that you're not in can be just as alive. So it's not whether one is good or bad, right or wrong. That's not the most important. The most important thing is that you can choose any lane. You can tell yourself that you want to be anything in the future, or that you have been anything in the past. Whichever one that is, you're using the present to do it. And so whatever you tell yourself true now is what you're going to start experiencing now. Or it's what you've been experiencing because of what you've been telling yourself. So if you can change your mind, you can change your experiences. You can past, present, or future. They're all happening at the same time. Only humanity thinks that's what it is. There is no such thing as that, really.
I'm thinking the experiences that I had in the past, the opportunities that I had in the past, right? Use those to be about my father's business. I'm not interested in reliving them. I'm not interested in reminding myself of them just to use them for business purposes. But I'm also thinking they were so drastic, they were so colorful, they were so intense. Use those opportunities to educate in your field. That is, I know that I'm here to be soft and to teach my other sisters who don't understand the value in softness. I know that that's my purpose. There's nothing nobody can tell me. Like I'm here to, and I was just having this conversation last night. Like if I didn't go through all these things, would I be here today? I don't know. I don't know. But the things that I've experienced have put me in a space where it's like for the rest of my life, femininity is focus number one because that takes care of the health. That takes care of
what is femininity?
The value. Okay, femininity is understanding that you don't have to be.
No.
Okay.
Femininity. You said femininity is focus number one. What is femininity?
I know that you're asking a trick question, so I don't know how to answer it. I
It's
don't know.
you.
Got you.
You're
It's me.
number one. Femininity,
Yeah.
expression, femininity, masculinity, it doesn't matter. Any entity is nothing but an expression of the identity of I am. I am is number one. You can't place something that I am has to be in front of I am.
Got you.
So you can't be feminine if I am is not perceiving itself to be something. Femininity is only expression of I am. So the expression cannot be before the expressor. That's like the painting coming before the painter.
Right.
Right. So I don't care what you express. It can be feminine. That's not what my point. My point is though that any expression cannot come before the expressor. I am is number one. I am is number one. Not femininity, not any form of expression. Femininity is not good or bad. Masculinity is not good or bad. Rich or poor is not good or bad. They're only expressions of I am. So if we don't have control over I am, who that is, what that means, then our expressions go awry. They don't mean, they can only be what we empower them to be. As I am is number one, not an expression. If an expression is relying upon I am, how can the thing that's relying upon one thing be before the thing? Right? I'm not talking about femininity. I don't care what you express, but I'm talking about it's only an expression, so it cannot be first. That's
right. Right, for sure. No, I'm number one all day. I'm number one all day long. I'm number one. My first expression today is femininity based on what I used to express first. My first expression today is femininity. So I completely absorb what you're saying. I get it. I just think that those experiences from the other expressions, when I used to prioritize those other expressions, I think those experiences are opportunities. That's what I took from what you were saying. Those are opportunities to educate. Those are opportunities to, like what Jesus did. Like he wasn't tripping when he saw somebody who was out of pocket, when he saw somebody coming at the situation, completely just insane, like the word said. He didn't trip, like he didn't guard himself. He was like, man, come on, let me do this. And that's the mindset. Like that's where I'm at.
Why not? Why
because he knew who he was. He knew who he was.
So that's
yeah.
Have anything in life, I am is first, and you have to know who you are. When I am is first, you know who you are. When you know who you are, you can choose femininity, you can choose masculinity, you can choose rich, you can choose poor, because they're nothing but expressions of you. They're literally like you going to the grocery store and picking apples or oranges or pineapples. They're not a big deal because you're the shopper, you're the buyer. The big deal is you. You're just using this thing to express yourself. This is not a big deal. Right? So that's what makes it so powerful, is because it's not a big deal. So you can choose anything. So because you know who you are, you choose the thing that best fits what you want to do. So it's great because that makes it more powerful, because you're not relying on it to be this or that. It is whatever you put into it. It's literally an apple, an orange, or a banana. Which one's a big deal? The one that you want the most. That's the only big deal, right? So then, but whichever one you want the most is a reflection of who you're being. So the big deal is you. Who are you being? Right? Then based on that, you're like, okay, this is the best expression of that. So that's what makes this a big deal, because it's perfect, but it's not independent of me. It doesn't work without me. Apples don't fly off the shelves, bananas don't fly off the shelves, oranges don't fly off the shelves. There's no one fruit better than another. Why? Because none of them gonna walk out with you on their own. Right? You got to pay for all of them. They're not good or bad, right or wrong. When you know who you are, when you remember who you are, then you'll pick the best expressions of yourself. And yes, and like you said, like Leanne said, you take whatever resonates with you the way it resonates with you, because that's what it's for. Right? And so that's the way you're going to be able to use it best, digest it best, it become a part of you the best. Right? That's how you do that. There's no good or bad expression. It's just an expression. It doesn't have any power in and of itself. It has no life in and of itself. It is being powered and empowered by you. So then, based on who you are, you're going to choose certain ways to express yourself. When you change who you are, you'll change with what expression you pick or what way you express yourself. All those things are just your resources. You are the source. Nothing comes before you. Nothing is bigger than you. Everything is neutral, has no power at all. Like we talked about last week, genes have no power at all, except what consciousness gives it. Femininity, masculinity, wealth, success, poverty, none of those have any power, except what you give it. And we give certain things power based on who we are. And we give other things power based on who we are. Some we do, some we don't. Those things are not power. They don't have any. Your memories don't have any power, except if you choose to remember them. That's why they come up, because they need more life from you, right? They are what you tell yourself they are. They mean what you tell yourself they mean. That's why they only affect you, right? They're not there. They are what they are, but you get to say what they are. You are the consciousness above genetics. You are epigenetic. You are epi-conscious. You are epi-poverty. You're epi-wealth. You're epi-health. You are above all expression, period. Then, as a result of that knowledge, you choose your expression. I'm the boss, I choose that. I'm the boss, I choose that. Right? But you never give glory, you never give power, you never give anything to any expression that needs you that you don't need. You're always first. You're the power, you're the victory, you're the glory. You are consequence, you are circumstance. It is you in physical form, either to be like Jesus and say, okay, this is me, I'm about my business. Yeah, that's me. I created this so I could do that to it, to express myself. Or you know what? This thing came up, I saw it, and I could choose who I'm being in this moment and deal with it. They're both opportunities. Everything is opportunity when you know yourself. You don't have a problem because you got all the answers. You ever studied for a test and knew all the answers? And when you got the test and they wrote it out and you saw the question, you're like, oh yeah, this is all good. Did you have a problem? No. All you had was right. But you know, people who didn't study and they were over here looking crazy, they got a problem. But you both got the same test. Did you study or not? Do you know who you are or not? If you do, it ain't a problem. To them, it's a problem. No problem. All of these are problems. AF. I know who I am. I don't. It ain't magic. There ain't nothing on that. The test can't do nothing to you. The world can't do nothing to you. People can't do nothing to you. No man takes my life from me. I have the power to lay it down and take it up again. Nothing in the physical world can do anything to you. Not when you know who you are. That is before femininity, masculinity, before any other expression, entity, before anything. I am. And then you choose, as a result of who you are, how you express yourself. Simple, just like that.
Shout out to you, Coach. Just breaking that down. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Christina, shout out to Christina. She knows what she does. Just thank y'all both in my world. Thank y'all for real. Thank y'all.
All right. Who else? What else we got?
I know I haven't been here in a while, but I will say every day and every way I've been living what you're saying. And, you know, sometimes I know better and don't do better, but I know, at least I know. So every day and every way I'm walking it out. I've adopted a specific vision for what I want, and no matter what else I'm seeing, I have that vision in mind. So when everything else looks like, you know, the highway, what we were talking about when the kids are in the back seat, when everything else looks like the highway, I say what the vision is and I stick to that. And that not only soothes me, but it's like, oh, okay, well, whatever's happening now, this is not the destination, or this is not what it is. So it don't matter. It's just the, you know, the the road to get to where we're going. So
No, that's
I've been really envisioning a lot and details, and it's like I can't even have that many details and not be in it. So yeah,
yeah.
it's so good.
And
It's so good.
and it's a great kind of analogy when you're a parent. It's like you know where you're going, but your kids don't. And sometimes they're in the back throwing a fit. Sometimes they want to get out of
Hmm.
the bathroom. Sometimes they're tired of sitting in the car. Sometimes they want to keep asking you, "Are we there yet?" There's just because that mind does not have the vision. They only have sight. That mind is not driving the car. So they can't stop you from getting where you want to go. They're not against you. They're just living their own experience. It's just a circumstance. And it doesn't have anything, it will not stop you if you don't stop the car. It will
Hmm.
stop you from getting where you want to go just because they don't know where they're going. Exactly, right? Or how to get there. So circumstances don't stop us. Circumstances we perceive based on whether we have a vision or we don't. If we don't, the circumstances become our vision. If we have a vision, they don't. Right? So you write that down. If you don't know where you're going, your circumstances become your vision. If you know where you're going, if you know who you are, the circumstances are just like streets. They're just a means to an end. They don't stop nothing. You keep driving light after light, right? Freeway exit after freeway exit till you get where you're going. They're just the streets, the freeway. They're just a means to get from where you started to where you are, where you're going, where you want to go. That's it. So yes, without a vision, circumstances become your vision. With a vision, they're just bridges of answer. They're just things that you roll over, roll by, and roll through. Yes.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Leslie.
I got Sage here with me, so I wanted to keep muted until because you know how she likes to get on stage.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've picked a new word for 2026. 2025 was phenomenal. The whole year has been phenomenal. The the lows have been phenomenal and the highs have been phenomenal. Because I know how to think about what that really means and how to apply it going forward. But in 2026, audacious is my word that I am going to use for the year because that's how I want to spend my energy um, moving into this next year is I want to make every single decision and application of knowledge audacious.
Like that. I like it.
I just wanted to share.
Hey, I like it. I like it. Well, you just like we were just talking about with Sarita, you created a vision. You've
Yeah,
decided that once you create a vision, that is what you're walking by. Your world is going to reflect audacious, whatever that means to you, right? Obviously, the word is the word, but whatever that means to you, your own tailored form of audacious, right? So that's your vision. So that means everything now reflects that for you. Everything is literally going to reflect that because that's who you're being. You're being the person whose life is audacious. So therefore, your world will transform itself. That's the lane you're now in. You're going to see things as that, and things are going to see you as that way. You're going to see things as audacious, and the insane man in the graveyard, the business owner, children, friends, they're also going to call you the same thing. Jesus, son, right, of the Most High God. They're going to call you what you call yourself. They're going to,
exactly.
yeah, that's the way it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
There you go. Wonderful. All right. Who else we got? Questions?
Well, since it's quiet, I guess I'll go. Can you hear me? I don't know if this is a celebration or not, but I realized how magical I was this week because I kept saying, "Oh boy, I'm so tired. Oh, I just want to be able to relax for at least a day or two." And then on Thursday, I got the flu, right? So I've been in the bed since Thursday and I've been relaxing like I asked for because there was nothing that was going to stop me from going to daycare and getting up and going to work. And so as I laid here, I said, wow, I asked for this, you know? And so I just been saying I'm healthy, I feel good, so I guess I celebrated. I don't know, I'm magical. I asked to lay down and to rest, and I got exactly what I asked for.
Yeah, well, right. It's not always the words, but the intention. Sometimes when we feel it's the words are imbued with intention, right? So that's what powers the words, and then your word becomes flesh, right? So if that was your intention as far as that's how you were feeling, then you can see how it worked out. But like you said, to your point, the great thing about it is you can always use new words. You can always create a new intention. You can always create a new choice, right? It's choose this day whom you serve, right? It's you are whatever you say you are now. So you say you're healthy now. You say, oh, okay, I learned something about myself. That's wonderful. Now I know how powerful I am. There is no right or wrong, good or bad, like we always talk about. It's just whatever you say it is. Whatever you tell yourself is true is true. So you can tell yourself anything, which means you can have any physical experience you want, because that's what creates them all anyway. So it's wonderful. Sometimes we learn from the quote unquote good, and sometimes from the quote unquote bad. Sometimes we respect learning how to study after we fail a test, right? We be like, you know what? Now I know why my mom was saying that, right? I know why my dad was saying I need to, right? Yeah. So it's not a bad thing. It's just another thing that we learn about ourselves. But to your point, you proved who you were. That whatever you say is what it is, because you don't need flu season. You don't need this person or that person. All you need is you to create your physical experience, right? And that consciousness will use every physical thing that it owns in this world. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, everything and everyone on it. So it'll use whatever's necessary to bring you. You don't have to be in a hospital. You literally, there's nothing that can stop anything from happening to you, because nothing can stop you. Right. So now we just learn the power of that truth and the truth of that power, so that we use it always for our highest and best good. Right. Always. So yeah, it's wonderful. We learn. It's perfect. 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 Yes, sir. Justin.
Hey, what's up, Coach Lucky? What's up, family? How's everybody doing today?
What on, sir?
I just wanted to share a quick testimony. And I feel like sometimes, you know, it might take a while to catch some things, right? But I remember what you told me last year when you said, like, how would you define your year, right? And you said something to me last year, and it finally hit me this year. And like it started to register, right? And because, like, in transparency, like, the year didn't turn out as expected, right? But there was a switch that flipped, and it was like a fighter mode that went off, because I'm like, this was the best year of my life. This was the best year of my business. Like, I was beating myself up for not going to the gym for like 5 months. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to the gym. Like, and like, from like, I would say 3 weeks ago, from like that perspective shift, like, doors started opening that it seemed like before they just could not open, and I really, really, truly believe it's because of how I've been started in the mornings, how I've been affirming everything that I am, how I've been praying, and the type of prayer that I kind of learned through you is not, I'm not necessarily begging for anything. I'm affirming what I already am. I'm affirming the victory that is already within me, the infinite intelligence that resides in me already. And I feel like slowly but surely I'm beginning to, like, activate some of that stuff, because, like, already going into 2026, I have already signed some of the biggest contracts in my business, in my whole business. And, that's not necessarily what's the important thing. The important thing, I believe, is that I believe in myself now.
Yes, sir.
Like, I believe, like, the other day I was at a $5 million property doing a shoot, but I believe that I was supposed to be in the room, because I'm the future buyer of this house, is what I was telling myself, and I just wanted to get on here. I know I'm a little late. I was in the gym, but please don't think that the words and the seeds that you're planting in our lives, that they're in vain, because one, what does the word say? One plants, one waters, but God brings the increase, right? So some of those seeds that you planted last year, maybe the year before, it's like finally, like it's just little subtle things that begin to hit that seed, that begin to water that seed, and it's like, and I'm just like driving to the gym thinking like, yo, like I'm so great. Like why am I tripping? Like everything works out for my good as I say it to be.
Yes, sir.
And like Coach Lucky, I could not have got that stuff from anywhere else except for you and the jewels that you drop. I know I've been offline for a couple weeks, but I just wanted to just say thank you, give you guys the update. And man, I'm just so thankful for you, Vero, the community, everybody in this community, all of you, because I believe we're all fighting the same fight, and it's the fight of faith and believing in ourselves. And, when you learn how to think better, is when you learn how to live better. That's all I got, y'all.
Oh man, that's wonderful, man. I'm so happy to hear the joy in your voice. That's like my tithe. The tithe I get from you, from all of you, is to hear the joy in your voice. So I always tell you all, I don't care what you have it for you to come on and come back and be like, man, look, you're not gonna believe, like, almost like when your kids come back to you. I mean, obviously we're not kids, but when something you've been trying to tell someone you love or you care about for so long, and one day
Right.
they're like, Dad, look, Mom, look, right? Just to hear the joy in your voice, because that's what you want. I want for all of you freedom. The same things I feel in life, the same freedom I feel, the passion about learning, or there's a passion I teach with, and the passion I teach with is the passion I live with, because I feel the same way. It's like, hey, I want this and I want to try this. And when we prove it, like there's nothing like when you prove it. Like you said to yourself, like, wait a minute, I can do this or I can be that. And now look at my
Right.
business, right? Like when you have proof for yourself, it changes everything, because you did that. It doesn't matter what I told you, you had that. When you prove that you had what it took, like you said, being offline, you're not here every week, you're not listening to everything. No, like you fight it, you prove that you don't need me, you don't need anyone else. That, like you said, the infinite intelligence in you has everything necessary to express itself in physical form, in business, health, love, relationships, all of it, man. And so to hear your voice and to hear your joy, that's awesome.
Like for instance, it's like 2 years ago, I was afraid to ask for $500. Like, this year I'm asking for 10,000. It's like it's such a mindset shift, like just in the way that I have to believe in myself, that it could not come from any other source except for the God within me. And it's just like that light bulb started to switch off, because it's like, no. Because when you think about it, it's like when you say all those things, I'm tired, I'm having a bad day, I don't feel good, like that stuff just amplifies. But when you start to say how good of a day you're having and how blessed you are, that also amplifies. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna choose my battles wisely. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
and
we're in the power of the tongue, right? And those that love it will eat the fruit thereof. You will eat the fruit of your mouth, right? Whether it's verbally or just the ones you're entertaining internally, right? Because your name is Justin. You don't have to say it to know it. It's your awareness of being something that you're eating. That's your fruit, right? Because we only express the words that we're thinking. So whether we say them or not, we're still thinking them. That's what we're sowing. That's what we're reaping. Right. So, and like you said, when you now start choosing this day who you serve, when you start saying, no, I know how this works and I know who I am. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. This is what it's going to be. And you have proven that it went from 500 to 10,000. And like you said, only you could do that. No person could have gave it to you. Nobody could have made you. You had to prove that you had that within you. Right. And so everything we do on this call is to dig into your chest, to get you to say, hey, man, look what's here. Take this. This is yours. It's not mine. It's yours. And for you to do that, man, like, dude, that is awesome.
And I
Congratulations.
do have a question for you, because it's kind of like this season I'm in that I started to learn, through educating myself through you, and other sources. But how important is the conviction in our belief system in order to manifest those desires? Because I feel like there's probably some people still, maybe struggling with some things that I used to struggle with, like I wanna believe in myself for more. I want to manifest more, but I don't have that conviction of the I am yet. Right. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's your comments on that?
So how I see it is important, but the intensity the volume you have, it doesn't, it can start from where it is and grow enough. So what I mean by that is it is important because manifesting is nothing but you pushed out. It's you in physical form. It's who you're being that creates your biology. Like your genes create your body, your mind creates your body, your physical world. So it is important because ultimately it's just you being something and whatever you're being taking physical form. However, belief is not the same thing that people think it is. When you tell a little kid 2 + 2 is 4, they don't believe that necessarily because they don't know what that means. They don't have any context of
Mm,
what that means. So if
mm.
they really, they believe you, really. If they believe, like, if you tell Jeremiah 2 + 2 is 4 back in the day, he'd be like, what is 2? What is 4? Can I have some ice cream or not? Like, what does that mean?
Right,
Right?
right, right,
No
right, right.
relevance to make me believe that. I don't, so it's not really believable or unbelievable. I don't know what it means really, right? So when we're first hearing that we are the creator of our reality, when we're first hearing anything, can we believe it? No, not really, because we don't really know have any context for it. However, that is to Leanne's point, like
Mm.
to starts to matter now because you may not believe what you're hearing, but you believe who you're hearing, right? So when you're listening, when you have a good mentor, when you come on calls like this or get other information from wherever else, just within right here, right, within a step of me, right, within a step of me, right, this is within a step of me, right? Where am I? Like all these are within a step of me, not including the bookshelf you can see a little bit over here, not including this, or like this within a step of me. So when I am talking to you, I'm talking to you from all of this stuff. I'm talking to you from all the stuff I read, I listen to, I hear, all of this stuff. These are my mentors, let's just say. We're all getting information from somewhere. Doesn't matter if they're dead or alive, in a book or on a video. This is where you start saying, oh, wow, so and so said that. So and so said, oh, and you start getting little things because when you seek, you'll find. And you start telling yourself, I'm great. You start telling yourself, I'm this. When you figure stuff out, you don't know what that means. Half the time, you don't believe it. You don't have any proof, but it starts with you because you start to realize you are the proof. You are the validation. And so when you get good information, little here, little there, little, it grows you, it matures you, right? And so,
And it kind of reminds me, not to cut you off,
yeah,
but like something you said to me a while ago, it's the journey of the self-discovery,
yeah,
right? So that journey gives us context.
yes,
And no, it starts to make sense.
yes, because
So you need that journey and you need some of those failures and you need some of those successes in order to start to understand the information at a deeper level almost.
yes, because they're not failures or successes, they're experiences.
Right.
Right? When you go out and your dad tells you to bring a jacket, and you're like, son, bring a jacket, and you're with your friends, and it's August and it's 85, and then you're like, no, I'll be back. And you're like, all right, right. So then somehow you get caught up later. Dad, can I stay? I don't want to go a little bit. And so now it's 10 o'clock. Now you're like, oh shoot,
It's
right?
freezing.
That's what he meant. It's not a failure or a success. It's just now you have an experience.
Oh my God. Man, that's just
Coffee. You have the coffee and then you have the water. You got to have both. So you have the word, the seed, then you have experience that water. You're like, that's what he meant. Right? When your skin is talking to you, like, dang, it's cold. That's what he meant. So experiences, to your point, yes, they really they harden the information in where now it's not just theoretical, it's experiential. Right?
man, that hit me so hard because it just reminded me of like, things I tell Jeremiah, even my older son Josiah, where it's like you're still not hearing what I'm actually saying. You know what I mean? Like, and then like it's like, oh, that's why he said that, right? Yeah, I get 100%.
Yeah. So
No,
that's so
that's good.
to believe, and you're first really learning to believe in yourself. And so, just like you said, just starting with affirmations, just starting with scripting or imagining, just starting with talking to yourself as the person you want to be, the thing you want to be. You don't have to believe it right away. You don't really have any context to believe it. You're still learning. You're still learning. Your kids don't believe that they're going to be cold, but they believe you, right? They don't know what cold, but once that one cold, then they're like, oh, okay. Once they've been cold that one time, they're like, oh, okay, I got it. right? Now they can believe because they have experience. They know what that means. It's hard to believe when you don't know what something means. So you just start saying something, and then life experience, you have experiences, and then it takes it into. So yeah, just say it. Just tell yourself you're something. You don't have to believe it when you first start telling yourself. 2 + 2 is 4, not because you believe it, just because that's what somebody's been telling you long enough to say, all right, fine, it's 4, right? But when you put it on the test, you get the answer, not because you believed it, because you were right. And what you keep telling yourself is right, and you keep. Oh yeah.
And thanks, Coach Lucky. It's really good to tap back in with you. And man, so good to see everybody. And I'm gonna turn my camera off, but I'm still on the call.
Yeah, of course. Vanessa, I know you wanted to. Got to leave you some time.
Yes. Before, I don't think anyone else had questions, so that's why I raised my hand so
Yep.
I can do some announcements. Next week we're having a special guest or a guest speaker, and Lucky, if you wanted to just say a little something. So he's going to be talking about finance. So Lucky's, I asked if you wanted to say something, and here I am. Lucky's vision is basically bringing other speakers that are masters in their lane and having them come speak to us so that we can get different aspects of different information to help us just grow, right? So if you want to add anything else, Lucky?
Yeah, this person is just, an expert in finance, wealth management, private equity, business capital, things like that. It's basically, this will be the first guest we've ever had here. So every person I bring on here is successful, in their business and in life. I vouch for the people I bring on. So there ain't nobody on here scamming, scheming, being in court under indictment, or there ain't no, we're not here playing any games, and they're not here to get your business or you to give them yours. They're just here to give you information that I think is going to be helpful in this case, because 99% of you are entrepreneurs on here. So you work because you want some money, and you want to be able to save your money and then know how to invest your money, and you want to know about how to either get some money for your business, raise capital, or whatever else it is. So this person manages about $2 billion worth of stuff. So they are who they are, and they know what they're saying. So many of you are entrepreneurs, and I want you to be able to come and say, hey, if you could ask somebody who is a master in their lane. This is not H&R Block. This is somebody who is doing real stuff, right? So how would you just come and ask, to have questions that you could ask if you were sitting in front of this person? How do I get more capital for my business? Or what do you think about Bitcoin, or whatever else it is? This is somebody who has the information, who's been doing this, who does this for a living, who is at the top of their game. So that is why they're here. So I want you to think about any type of finance or business questions that you would have, that you could think of. And I'm sure between all of you, you'll come with some. So Veronica will tell you how to do that, and then we'll also
I'll send out an email.
Yeah, and then we'll also take some questions live, if we can get to them. But they're going to come on here, and that's what they're here. So literally, I'll introduce them for like 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then they're going to be off and running. So you can, just like the regular class, you can invite whomever you want to listen. And also, class starts right at 7. So make sure that you're here on time, because that's one of the things I impress upon all of us as business owners: be on time with your meeting, with your clients, with your opening your store, all the other stuff, right? So that is essentially, that's pretty much all I'll say.
And then we have one more question. Leanne, go ahead.
Yes.
I have a lot of questions, but I'll just ask one more.
Sure. Is that all right?
I've done a lot of research and gathering information about manifesting. It's like my favorite topic, especially money. And I've been taught a lot that thinking the thing and then feeling what it would feel like to have it already is like the potency of the energy of bringing it back to you or becoming it. How does the feeling part relate to your teachings? It hasn't quite clicked for me.
So when people talk about feeling, what they're really talking about is the awareness of the thing you're thinking about. So feeling it, so the thing you're thinking about, like when you say business, like you have a business. So when I say tell me about your business, you start talking, you're describing your business. The feeling that's being talked about is the awareness that you have about this thing that you're talking about. How does it make you feel? What does it make you think? What does it make you do? It is the awareness of the thing that you're talking about. It's not the emotion as much. You can get emotional about a feeling, but it's really like, okay, I have a business, or I have a child, or I have this thing. That is the seed. The feeling is what I think about this thing. It could be how it makes me feel, or what it makes me say, or what it makes me do. How does it affect me? Its influence on me. That is the soil. That is the thing where the seed germinates and it pushes out what it is. It's not emotional, it's not hysterics, it's not crying, it's not laughing. It could create some emotion, but it's not emotion like that. People think like I have to feel it, but people are really talking about emotion. They're really talking about like if I'm not crying or if I'm not hysterical over them, I'm a millionaire and running around and lighting fires in the bathroom. It's not talking about that. It's really talking about, okay, I decided I want to be a millionaire. How does that make me feel? Like, what does it make me, meaning, like, what does it make me think? What do I start thinking if I am that thing? What would I think? Why do I want to be a millionaire? Like, well, if I were a millionaire, I'd be able to have my own car, or I'd be able to come and go as I please. When you start really thinking about what the benefit of that thing is, why you want, because you want to be something because of the benefit of it. So then I want to be a millionaire, let's say, or I want to have my own business. Why? Well, because if I were this, or if I had this, I would feel these things. These things will be possible. And the things that are possible now, that's really what I'm trying to get. I'm using this thing as a conduit to what I'm really trying to get, right? A lot of times. So I would feel free. I would feel this. And when you start feeling the things you would feel, when you start really realizing what you would feel, like the things that would come as a result of that, that's really what it's talking about, is in feeling. Like, oh man, I'd be this, I'd be that. So really like, oh, I'd be free. Oh God, I have no more worries. Oh God, I could travel wherever I wanted. That is the feeling. It's the awareness of what that thought represents. Does that make sense?
Okay. So the feeling, does it increase the energy and the vibration of actually manifesting the thing faster?
It can. Yes, a lot of times it does, because it's like hitting the gas. It does, but it's not necessary. It's not necessary as much, because when you get better at it, even the feeling doesn't matter. As far as like like when you're young and you don't want to do something, you'll let your feelings talk you out of it. But when you're older and you're more mature, you don't let your feelings tell you anything. You know how you feel, but you don't let that dictate what you do, right? You're like, you know what? I got to get to work, or bills, or I got to open up the shop for the employees. You still feel the same thing you did at 15, but you just realize like, nah, but I've done that before. And that feeling that got me not going to work is the same feeling that got my check docked today. Then I had a feeling about that. Does that make sense? Like, oh, I don't feel like going to work. Now you're $150 short at the end of the week. Now you have a feeling about being $150 short. So your feeling got your check short. Then you're like, well, shoot, next time my feelings, I don't care. I want my money, right? As you mature, you're aware of those things, but you're so confident in who you are that you're like, look, this is just what it is. And let there be light. This is just what it is. I know. So I go to work. I don't feel like it, but I go, because my feelings don't have the same level of importance, because I know who I am more. The more mature you are in awareness and your self-concept, yes, the feelings matter, because you're just feeling, you're aware of what you're thinking, but it doesn't drive you as much as when you first started, because you're not sure if you can get it, you're not sure if it's real or true. So feeling better makes it feel more real, but it's not actually, but it feels like it. So that feeling keeps you there more. It keeps you more focused and committed, because it feels good. It feels better to think that way. And so that's a good thing. But just as you get older, it's still good and it still matters. But you need it less in that way, because you're like, I said it and that's it. I declared, I decreed, that's it. It's what it is. And you get to step in. It's kind of more like that.
Okay. So I know when I was first learning about manifesting, I was like really focused on my thoughts and like, okay, I got to think positive, think positive. And then when I would catch myself thinking negative, it'd be like, oh my God, now I'm going to manifest some crap. And and then you kind of spiral downwards. And so it's not necessarily every single thought amounts to something. It's kind of the general
the general
sum of it all.
Thoughts, the ones you think the most, right? There's 8 billion people on the planet. All of them aren't your friends. You've selected your friends from amongst 8 billion. And what differentiates your friends from 8 billion people are the ones you talk to the most generally, or the ones you're closest to, the ones you talk to on the phone, text the most, see the most, hug the most, whichever. They're the ones that you have separated out from all possibility. So the thoughts are like your friends. The ones that you think the most, the ones that you have the most closest, consistent relationship with, those are your friends. Those are your manifestations. Those are you in physical form because your thoughts are you, meaning they're not you literally, but they are I am thinking itself to be. So whichever thoughts that you're using, that you're selecting to think the most, those are like your ingredients. That's what you're cooking. Right? From all things, you bought this out of the grocery store. From all people, these are your friends. From all thoughts, you think these. The ones you think the most predominantly, your dominant thoughts are the ones that you produce in a physical form. Because those are the ones that outweigh the ones you don't think as much. You think 70 to 80,000, but the ones you think the most, consistently, most often, those are the ones that you turn into physical form. Manifesting is you. It's literally you in physical form. You are not human. You are I am. So you, manifesting is you, meaning it is consciousness believing itself to be in physical form. Money, whatever it is, whatever you're thinking constantly about money, that's what it is. About your health, that's what it is. About relationships, that's what it is. So like I said, you can tell yourself anything. This is what it is. This is how I think. This is how I feel. And this is what it is. And every time I think about that thing, and affirmation is not how often you say it, it's the fact that you say the same thing every time you think that thing. Every time you're thinking about health, you say that. Now, you may walk around all day saying something about your health, so people call that affirming or affirmations. But your affirmation is really just the fact that every time I think about my health, I say that same thing. Doesn't matter. Now, a different thought may come, so what? But as long as you don't identify with it, so what? That's a lot of times just your old identity not willing to die yet. It's swinging for the fences, trying to hold on. So circumstances may come up that make you say, and you're like, no, this is what it is. No, this is what it is. You just bring yourself back to the truth. The truth is whatever you tell yourself. And if you tell yourself I'm this or I'm that or I have this or I have that, that is what will be.
It's more about the meaning that you give it.
Yes.
When you have the thoughts and that. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Got it. Brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, definitely if you guys, anyone is interested in working closer with Coach Lucky, we do have the youth circle. And now we meet twice as a smaller group on Tuesdays and Fridays. And you still get your one-on-one once a week with Coach Lucky. And I do encourage anyone who's been thinking about this to hop on because the prices will be going up next year. So, what do they say? Tomorrow's prices are not today's prices, or I might be saying that backwards, but y'all know what I mean. Another thing that I wanted to do is, so Coach Lucky, you had a birthday, turned the big 50 this week. So we got a little something together for you, and I just want to share my screen because we can't go without recognizing it. And then what I'll do is, because not everyone had an opportunity to do this, if anyone wants to raise their hand after I play the video, you guys can send them your birthday wishes as well.
Here's to the man who proves that 50 isn't over the hill. It's just prime time coach season. I'm grateful for you, your guidance, and your heart. And may this next chapter be your most powerful play yet. Happy 50th, Coach. That's half a century of wisdom and 50 powerful laps around the sun. Happy birthday and lots of love.
Happy birthday, man. Hey, listen, as I sit here getting ready to get on with my day, I just want to say thank you for for being the man that you are, and the brother that you are, the son that you are, provider that you are to each and everybody who comes in contact with you. You're an inspiration to us all. Never forget it. We love you. I can talk about you all day, and it would all be good. It would all be good. So, yeah, man. So I thank you, man. Happy birthday. Love you. Appreciate you. Hey, you're the reason why I continue to grow and be better every single day. Thank you for the light, enlightenment. Thank you most of all for the love. My brother.
Coach Lucky, happy birthday. I just want to say thank you. You entered my world at a very interesting time where I literally heard the voice within and didn't listen to it. And since meeting you, my world has transformed. I wouldn't even say meeting you because I listen to your videos here and there on YouTube, but like speaking with you one-to-one, when I was really going through something, was just very powerful and very much in alignment with where I am in life and where I'm going. And I'm just so grateful that we've crossed paths and that you've empowered me to really go within and really understand who I am. And you do it in a way that is just so passionate, so loving, so inspiring, and you really always put the power back into my hands. And, you said to me, the truth shall set you free. And I honestly feel so free knowing the truth, knowing who I am, knowing my power, and understanding that everything I want is mine. So you are a unique individual. The way that you teach is transformative. It is really a blessing to learn from someone like you. So I really hope that you enjoy your 50th birthday, and I look forward to continuing working with you and learning from you and growing with you, and I can't wait to meet you in person one day, because I know that this is going to keep going on forever and ever. So anyway, thank you and enjoy your birthday.
Happy birthday, Coach Lucky from Canada. Just wanted to send this little video and say how much I've enjoyed watching your Saturdays and how much I really appreciate your information. I totally love the whole vibe of it. I honestly, when I first got invited to watch you, I thought this guy must have millions of followers because he knows what he's talking about, and this is really good stuff. And I was quite surprised when you don't have millions of followers yet, but I'm so confident that you will. I love your material, and I look forward to every Saturday. I hope you have a great day, and happy birthday.
Hey, Coach Lucky, man, happy 50th birthday, man. Much love and shout outs all the way from Oklahoma. You want to say happy birthday, Coach?
Happy birthday, Coach.
Y'all have a good one, man. Enjoy your day, King.
Feliz cumpleaños, mi amor. Thank you for everything that you do. We are all extremely grateful for you and wishing you the happiest of birthdays. Te quiero mucho.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you all. Wonderful. Super cool.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Thanks. You're all very
We
welcome.
sent our love on Thursday. The kids and I, we sent our love on Thursday, but let me just reiterate, Coach, thank you. You have affected healthy change in my family, in the way we think, the way we operate, the way we show up, just thank you and just keep going. All the love that the kids sent, like forever life, forever life, forever life. Just keep going. Vero, you are the real MVP for sharing your man with us, girl. Because I don't know if I would have shared mine. Okay. Like I'm like all this wisdom, all this knowledge, like, but it makes me want to support you both even more. It makes me want to support you both. Vero, I'm stressing this. It makes me want to support you even more. Just because of how giving you are with this gym. Coach Lucky, I ain't trying to hype you up too much. You all right, you cool, but no, in real life, you the bomb. Global. Thank you for everything. Happiest birthday, and just keep going.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Latoya.
I just want to say happy birthday, Coach Lucky. Oh my gosh, look, you are amazing. My life is better because you are in it. And oh, like just thank you for everything. I wish you the best. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Latoya. Thank you.
All right, Sarita.
Happy birthday, Coach Lucky. Actually, today's my mom's birthday too. But so we're all like in this whole Sag trifecta. So,
Right.
I know we're not identifying as that, but happy birthday. Ever since I've met you and you've been doing these and I've been exposed to you, it has really expanded my understanding, expanded my knowledge, allowed me to see things in a different light. And I really do appreciate that because in light period, because I think what I was saying before was definitely dimly lit. So now I have some light and some guidance. And um, even on the times when it's like, okay, I know better, at least I know better and I am willing to do better now. So thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be.
Monique.
Coach, I just want to tell you that you are I'm gonna come on camera. I look crazy, y'all, but I need my face to be seen. You are an amazing human. If I'm going to cry, I used to have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. And it wasn't until I came here and really, really understood who I was because of you that I have zero desires to pick up anything that's toxic and harmful to my body because of who you are and because of Mama Mona and Vero sharing you with us. I appreciate you and I love you and I thank you for being who you are. And I thank you for coming here every Saturday. You could be doing anything else at 7 a.m., but you're here sharing who God made you to be with us. And I thank you for that. You are amazing.
Thank you, Monique. Thank you. So happy to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Monique.
And just to let you know, in YouTube, we have Ronette listening to you, and she did put in the chat, happy birthday. So Ronette, we see you and we miss you.
Wonderful.
All right.
Okay. Well, so next Saturday, right? We'll be here. We'll get started right at 7. First of all, let me back up. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. I'm not really a big birthday celebrator. I think it's because it's always been a basketball season and playing basketball.
Drives me crazy.
You never get a chance to really celebrate it because it's basketball season. So, but I appreciate it. I don't always celebrate, but I always appreciate it. So, and I thank you all for taking your time and for the wonderful things. It's super cool. And I want you to know I really, really do appreciate it. So thank you for that. We're going to get started next Saturday at 7. So Veronica's, I think you guys will be able to send some emails or something, right?
Yeah, so be on the lookout for emails if you are not in our subscription list. I will put that in the chat, the link so you could subscribe. But we're going to basically give you guys an opportunity to submit your questions through that email. Yeah, I'll also be sharing the links to the past 2 weeks because I was traveling. It was kind of hard for me to stream it live. So I'll be sending those links. They're already on YouTube. But yeah, I'll add that link right now.
Cool. So we'll start next week, 7 o'clock, what we always do. So please get here on time or even a couple minutes early, like a lot of you did. You see, I was on here at 6:45, ready to be, you know, so it's good to be able to see you all, talk to you all, stuff like that. But we get started right at 7. And so I want you to be able to get the most out of the guest. And please submit questions if you have them. If you can't, you know, just try to get here. So hopefully we can take your questions, as many as we can. So I want you guys to get the information. And you know, from somebody who's not trying to sell you something or get you to do something or anything like that. You just get to sit down and be calm and not worry about anything, and but really sit down and think about the questions you want to ask and get them in, because that's what it's for. I'm going to literally talk a minute. The rest of that time is going to be with you and this person, right? That whole 2 hours. So bring all the questions you have, ask all the questions you can, and that's what it's for. So thank you all. Happy Saturday. Thank you all for coming. Veronica, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, so Dr. Velvet is 7 a.m. PST, so that's 10 a.m. EST.
Yes.
It's just 7 a.m. for us in the West Coast. And then Christina, I will share the YouTube channel. Just give me a second.
Yeah, so please, everybody get here, you know, early, get yourselves ready, get your pens and pencils out. If you have like, I don't know, well, I guess it'll be on YouTube anyway, but if you have like a recorder and you want to record it, or, you know, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I'll be streaming it on YouTube, so we'll have a replay also.
So invite everyone you want to invite, who you think could use financial support, information, questions, whatever. We'll try to get to as many people as we can. So, all right. Well, happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you all again for the birthday wishes. I love you all. Appreciate you all. Thank you. So wonderful, honestly. Thank you all. Have a great week. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. When you do, everything's an opportunity. Keep your vision. Otherwise, your circumstances will become them. So make your own vision, right? Rock your own path. Remember who you are. Tell yourself you're the best, you're the greatest, because it's true. Tell yourself anything else is a lie, and a lie only enslaves. Tell yourself the truth so that you're free, right? You are the best. You are the greatest. There's none ever like you before or after. So you are special. All right. Have a wonderful Saturday, a wonderful week. See you all next week. Talk to you later. Thank you all.